Hello everyone, ciao a tutti. This is Papilla ASMR. In the super hot summer days in Italy, we tend to eat a lot of rice and pasta salads. So today I wanted to show you a pasta salad that I make, and it's fresh, it's very flavorsome and super easy to make. It's just about some good old chopping action. To make this dish, you will need 1 stick of celery, about 200 grams to 50, let's say, of small plum tomatoes or cherry tomatoes can be good as well. They do tend to be more kind of acidic, at least here in the UK, but it won't be a problem. I will explain why later on. So then we'll need some sweetcorn, and I'm going to start with this quantity, as in I'm going to have it here, but the quantity that will actually end up in the dish will depend on the kind of flavor that the dish will have at that point. Then we will need either half a pepper, a raw pepper, or a jar of roasted red peppers. And I have to say, I rarely make something that does not contain peppers in the summertime. They're probably, well, they're one of my favorite ingredients. After, or maybe together with aubergines or eggplants. Okay, so then we will also need a teaspoon, of capers, two teaspoons of kalamata olives or gaeta olives, which is It's an Italian type from the southern areas of Italy, and they're quite similar to these Greek ones. Then we're going to need about half a packet of feta to stay in grease, but I got this simply because it contains less fat, but it is not actual feta, so I would suggest you get the real thing. We're going to need about 4 spring onions, and about half a jar of marinated artichoke hearts. I hope you can find these where you are. Otherwise you can just try any other sort of marinated or pickled vegetable, just to give that sort of tanginess, I guess. That we're going to need lots of basil, which I haven't got here actually, but I'm going to get it later. And we're going to need a lemon to make the raw spring onions a bit more, let's say, bearable. And then obviously we're going to need some medium-sized pasta, and in this case I've already cooked some, because it needs to cool down completely before using it. So this is what I would call medium size. So not the very small one that you would give to a baby, and not the large shapes like rigatoni or conchiglie, etc. Then we're also going to need half a garlic clove, and this is for the dressing. 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and make sure it's a good one, because you're gonna taste it quite a lot in the final dish. Salt, obviously, and some chilies or chili flakes, which I also forgot to get, and I will go get it together with the basil later. I'm not sure if you say basil or basil actually. I could never remember. So, first thing you need to do is to cook the pasta like I've done, and once it's ready, you need to rinse it under the tap to cool it down, which is quite unusual for an Italian dish, I guess, but in this case we want to, first of all, we want to stop the cooking process. So even better if after draining it you leave it in the pasta drainer and submerge it into a bowl such as this one with some iced cold water with ice cubes. That might even be better. Okay, and obviously I put some salt in the water before adding the pasta, as always. So this is already, excuse me, so this is already salted. Now let's start with chopping. A little tip is to slice these in 4 pieces or even more, even smaller, if your guests don't really enjoy tomatoes. Actually, I'm going to do it maybe just like this, because funnily enough my partner does not like tomatoes very much. It does fall in that category, so I do have to treat him like a child sometimes. Okay. This is a small one. Okay. I love these knives, but they're new and still have to get used to them. I would usually take the seeds out if this was another sort of recipe with pasta. Well, it depends on the recipe really, but in this case, since the pasta is going to rest, the pasta salad, the seeds combined with the olive oil and the rest of the ingredients, a little bit of lemon and the tanginess of the little bit of olive juice that will come out, will make for a really nice juicy dressing. then the celery. Let's see. I really don't like when the celery is too thick. These kinds of recipes. Let's have a look. I guess I can slice it into four. Okay. Okay. I don't mind chopping it all, to be honest. I find the repetitive quality of chopping quite relaxing. Obviously, the problem is when you don't have a lot of time, but for this recipe I wouldn't really use a blender to chop the vegetables, as they would go all mushy. Yeah, I'm not sure it's something you can do, but again, it's something you can make in advance. So now the spring onions, and I said 4, didn't I? Let's see. I'm not good with quantities. In fact, I wouldn't really be able to tell you for how many people this is. I find it to be something really difficult to do. Because it depends on so many variables. It depends on whether you're hungry, whether you're on a diet, if you're going to have something with something else. How much you like to eat. There's so many variables. So I'm not sure for how many people this is. But if it stays another day in the fridge, it will only get better, I think, personally. I used to make this pasta salad with my friends when we were students or living together. We used to make it for parties. So everyone would chop ingredients and help out, so it was very quickly in that scenario. Very quick. So yeah, we used to make a huge bowl of it and just put a ladle in it, and people would just help themselves. So in my memory, pasta salad is mixed with a flavor of sangria, also made in large quantities, and hot summer nights in Rome. But yeah, probably not the perfect combination drink-wise. Sangria. A beer would be better with this. So now I'm going to add the spring onions to this, or scallions to this bowl, and I'm going to add some lemon juice. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it here, and then I'm going to rinse it quite well later on. Okay. Now I'm going to combine capers and olives. This is one of those dishes that you kind of perfect it as you go. The quantities I've provided earlier were just a sort of starting point. What you really need to do is you need to keep tasting it in order to see whether you need to balance the flavors a bit. And I really think it's a balance game. If you think you need more of a tangy flavor, you can add more of this stuff. Or if you think you need more sweet notes, you may add more sweet corn, for instance. So, okay. I'm going to use my trusty mezzaluna to chop them as fine as I can. If you don't know this tool, it's an Italian chopping knife, and mezzaluna means half moon because of its shape, obviously, as you can see, and it allows you to just chop things very easily. But obviously it's a rough kind of chopping, so that's why I didn't use it earlier. You want to some more of a rough chop when you want to turn things into almost like a paste, I would say. In Italian I would say poltiglia. Ridurre something in poltiglia. So I'm going to add it to the rest. Okay. Now let's clean here a little. When I was a barista, I used to clean the coffee machine and around it after every coffee. And my colleagues, instead of, I don't know, guess admiring me for it or imitate me, they used to get annoyed with me. But it would make such a difference in my ability to work, to be quick, to be efficient and focused. Okay, and now for the ingredients. In jars, I'm going to slice a couple, or maybe let's see how big they are actually. So look, that's a whole one. Okay. I think I'm going to start with one. Really satisfying to slice. It's quite soft. Squidgy. It's really important with things in jars that you push them back down so that they're completely covered in the liquid. In this case, I think it's some sort of water and water, vinegar, sugar and salt. Okay. But things like in oil, like these artichokes, really important. And if you find that you would need more, just do add some more olive oil. In this case, just maybe match the kind of oil that they use. Okay. should have done this in this ink. Okay. Again, do use a proper feta unless you're trying to eat less fat, like I'm trying to. Always constantly trying to get like with that. But it's so much nicer. But then again, you might not enjoy the strong flavor, in which case something like this would be perfect actually. This is more similar to a cheese that we have in Italy called primo sale, first salt, literally translated, which is just kind of like, I don't know, it doesn't really taste of anything, but it has this consistency. I like to make like little towers, like this, like stack them and then cut them together. A traditional Italian way to make not so much pasta salad but rice salad is to make it with pickled vegetables that come in jars, especially for this purpose, which I always found to be quite a strange, not very typical Italian dish. I mean, it includes pieces of frankfurters or ham, together with canned tuna, sometimes even mayo, plus cheese and boiled eggs. So all in all, it's a pretty odd dish if you think about it, and not what one would associate with stereotypical Italian food. But again, it does remind me of summertime in Italy in the 80s and 90s, and I quite like it, to be honest. Obviously the vegetarian version, even though I'm pretty sure my brain categorizes it as a sort of junk food. Now for the dressing. I'm also going to go rinse these. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. chili flakes. I'm going to add quite a lot. It's about half a clove, but you can add more, you can add less. However you like, really, but here, let me show you. It's half of it is still. Now, salt, but again, I need to have a taste first to see what we're working with. Now for the basil. Basil leaves are never supposed to be chopped. So I'm just going to tear them a little like this. Okay. I'm going to add the pasta, obviously. I forgot if I told you or not that the pasta also needs to be dressed in oil. Oil will stick together. So before letting it cool down, it's just after you rinsed it in the iced water or cold tap water, you need to dress it in olive oil. Okay, I'm going to add the rest. You can see why this is very good as a student party food. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to add the rest of the pasta because this looks like a good ratio. This is what I left behind. Sorry if it's a bit confusing, but as I said, it's a constant work in progress, this recipe. So now I'm going to taste it. Heads up if you hate eating celery. It's very good. It's very lemony, even though I rinsed the spring onions, scallions. It's still quite lemony and quite acidic all in all. I'm gonna try another little bit. Put it on this dish. Really nice. It's quite salty as well. So definitely do taste it before adding salt. Like I did, I forgot that I put feta this time because I usually make it with another kind of cheese, which is like very kind of sweet cheese that is not as salty. So, but it's not unbearable. I like it this way. Okay, I'm just showing you the finished product, but to remember to let it cool in the fridge for a few hours. I'd say at least 3 to 4 hours, but the longer the better. If you make this dish, to let me know your version, whether you found some other ingredients taste better, whether you swapped something, and whether you liked it. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Buon appetito e a presto.